Mora, KTN.
Let's now head to the Vatican, where the much-anticipated conclave is now planned to start on the 7th of May. Vatican uses the conclave that happens after the Pope's funeral to select the next Pope. The papal conclave is intentionally shrouded in mystery. The term itself is Latin for locked room. I look at the delicate and secretive process so weighty that can lead to cardinals being excommunicated if they leak information. Take a look. According to Catholic Church rules, only cardinals under the age of 80 are eligible to vote in the papal conclave. Out of the 252 cardinals globally, only 138 currently qualify to play the role of electing the next pope. The conclave's first day begins with a special mass, after which the cardinals file into the Sistine Chapel chanting prayers and hymns, imploring saints and the Holy Spirit to help them pick the right cardinal as pope. Each cardinal places his hand on a book of the Gospels and pledges, with the greatest fidelity, never to reveal the details of the conclave. The master of the papal liturgical celebrations, an official who organizes religious ceremonies by the pontiff during his tenure, then cries extra omnes, Latin for all out. Everyone except the cardinals leaves and the voting begins. So how do they vote? Well, each cardinal writes his choice on a paper inscribed with the Latin words for I elect as Supreme Pontiff. They approach the altar one by one and say, I call as my witness Christ the Lord, who will be my judge, that my vote is given to the one who before God I think should be elected. The folded ballot is then placed on a round plate and slid into an oval silver gold urn. Once cast, the ballots are opened one by 3 scrutiners who note the names down and read them aloud. Cardinals are allowed to keep their own tally on a sheet of paper, but must turn their notes in to be burned at the end of voting. The scrutiners then add up the vote and write the results on a separate sheet of paper, which is preserved in the papal archives. As the scrutiner reads out each name, he pierces each ballot with a needle through the word eligo, Latin for I choose, binds the ballots with threads and ties a knot. The ballots are then put aside and burned in the chapel stove, along with the chemical to produce either white or black smoke. White when a round of voting leads to a new pope, and black when it does not. A 2/3 majority is needed to win, and only one ballot is held on the first day, with up to 4 rounds of voting allowed each day after that. If no one is elected after 3 days, voting pauses for up to 1 day. Voting resumes, and if no pope is elected after another 7 ballots, there is another pause, and so on until about 12 days of balloting have passed. If no one is selected after 33 rounds, the cardinals go to a runoff of the top 2 contenders under a relatively new rule introduced by Pope Benedict XVI. Unlike in previous rounds, those 2 candidates cannot cast ballots. Previously, conclaves used to last for months, the longest on record being for the section of Gregory X in the 13th century, which lasted from November 1268 until September 1271 due to infighting and outside meddling. To prevent the same chaos that saw him elected, Gregory X enacted new rules that secluded the electors and locked them in, hence the term conclave. Papal names were originally meant to Catholicize the winner's birth name. Pope John II, elected in 533, was the first to do this because he was born Mercurius, after the Roman god Mercury. They are now often taken as a homage to previous popes and as an indication of the new one's approach to the job. Once the elected cardinal picks a desired name, the master of liturgical ceremonies then enters the information on a formal document. White smoke pours out of the Sistine Chapel chimney and the bells of St. Peter's Basilica ring. The new pope then changes into his white cassock, and one by one, the red-clad cardinals approach to swear the obedience. The new pope will stop and pray in the Pauline Chapel for a few minutes before emerging on the loggia of the balcony overlooking St. Peter's Square. Preceding him to the balcony is a cardinal who announces
Habemus Papam,
meaning we have a pope, and then introduces him to the world in Latin. The new pontiff then emerges and delivers his first public words as pope. With the death of Pope Francis, it will take 2 to 3 weeks after his funeral for the conclave to converge.
All right, we'll be telling you what exactly will be transpiring at the Vatican when May 7th.